Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me again. We handled all sorts of things during the break, I promise. First and foremost was our apple cider reduction. We got a new pan. We just started again. That happens all the time. Happens in home kitchens. It happens in professional kitchens. It even happens in celebrity kitchens, I promise you. If that occurs, no need to stress. Just start again. Apple cider is easy to get this time of the year. Reduce it down, and this time, no smoke, no issues, and it's a beautiful caramel color. It gets really thick, and this will be a delicious addition to our vinaigrette. It sounds like our pigs in a blanket are also ready. Oh, and they have turned out just beautifully. They get golden brown on the top here. The sausages, they kind of sizzle a little bit and drop their juice on the pan. It is delicious. Oh, absolutely delicious. One thing to keep in mind when you are rolling out your biscuit dough, make sure you roll it much thinner than you do for normal biscuits because you know they do rise and you don't want these to be too doughy. The other thing is when you roll them up, you don't want a lot of overlap of dough on dough because at those points it'll be really thick and doughy in there and it's hard to cook it all the way through. So just a tiny little seal. They will stay together. If you want to turn them upside down so the seal is on the bottom, that'll help as well. It'll hold together, I promise. So just two things to keep in mind. We'll let those cool while we put together our salad dressing. Again, so excited. We've got dark leafy greens all the way through November, which is great. I know some people worry about how do you get your salads this time of the year. Well, you can. And here's a really easy salad dressing. I know you can buy salad dressing at the store. There are plenty to choose from, but if you are trying to eat local, we've got some great options around here for how to make a salad dressing. And you always want to start, if you want your salad dressing to stay together and not to break apart oil and vinegar, to have some type of mustard in the bottom. That helps emulsify the dressing. That just keeps it all together in one kind of cohesive bond. So we've got some mustard in there, and we have some of our local honey. Delicious as well. You don't need a whole bunch because we are going to add that reduced apple cider that is super sweet and really flavorful. So we're going to whisk these together. Gosh, and this right here actually makes a delicious dip. You could even just make some of this and dip those pigs in a blanket in it. Oh, I'm telling you. Now, there is some mustard inside, but if you are like people in my house, you love mustard. So this is a great dipping sauce. Just stop it here, pop those in, fantastic. But we're going to add a couple more things to make a salad dressing. We have a local grape growing producer around here who thought they wanted to actually be a winery, but they realized very soon in the process that their vinegar was a whole lot better than their wine. So now they make vinegar right here in our county, and it is delicious. So we're going to add a couple splashes of that, just to bring some brightness and some tartness into this dressing. This time of the year, the food seems really heavy and great and warm inside, but it's nice to have some things that have a brighter flavor. So some vinegar. Now, I'm going to bring this over here actually. Some of these pots are so heavy. We're going to add just a couple drizzles of our reduced apple cider. This is great to keep around. This is delicious over ice cream. If you have ice cream at home, it's delicious over apple pie. If you're going to make an apple pie, it almost tastes like a caramel sauce. It's got that brown sugar flavor to it that is fantastic. And then the last thing we're going to add is just some olive oil. Again, we don't have olive oil in our area naturally because we don't grow olives in this part of the world, but we've got a wonderful little shop that sells all sorts of olive oil, so that's where I like to get our olive oil from. You could try and use melted butter. I've never tried that in a dressing. It might work just fine. I don't know. If you try it and it works great, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to try to use everything local if possible, but I'll always try and use an oil in a dressing. And that is what we have. It's delicious. I'm just going to taste it. Make sure. Oh my gosh. The only thing I might add is a little bit of salt. The apple cider reduction is very, very sweet. The honey is sweet. This vinegar is a sweet vinegar, so it might be nice just to add a pinch of salt just to kind of balance out that sweet. And I love spice as well, so I'm going to pop in a few red chili flakes. Again, the great thing about when you cook at home, it's all what you like. If you like heat, add heat. If you hate heat, my best friend hates heat. He can't handle anything with any spice in it. If he was coming over for dinner, we wouldn't have any red chili flake in this at all, I promise. But if you like it like I do, why not go ahead and add some of that right there into it? A great opportunity to get what you like going. Another part of eating locally and cooking your own food at home. So the salad dressing is ready to go. Really should give this one a whirl. It was so quick and easy, 2 minutes to make, and absolutely fresh and delicious. So the last thing we're just going to put together is our salad. And I've brought some local pecans. I might have talked about this before. We've got lots of local nuts in our area. We've got pecans, we've got black walnuts, we've got peanuts. They make a great addition to a salad, especially if you're not going to put a protein in a salad, like a chicken or a shredded pork or something. This makes a great way to just kind of beef up your salad. But we just have some romaine lettuce here. You can cut it if you want to. I really don't see a need. It's so nice and crunchy. You can just kind of tear it up a little bit in your bowl. We've got 2 heads, but you know, there are only 4 of us eating tonight, so probably don't need 2 whole heads of lettuce here. We've got some lettuce. This is our local goat's cheese. Again, we've got tons of cheesemakers. We are so lucky to have them in this area. It's creamy, it's tart, it goes really well with the pecans and with this dressing. So I'm just going to crumble, probably a quarter of a cup, a third of a cup of goat's cheese in here. When you put the dressing on it and you toss it together, pardon me 1 second, I'm just going to rinse that off my hands. The goat's cheese kind of almost melts down and it gets really creamy and coats the leaves. It's just delicious. Now the last thing we're going to do is add some apple. Why not have that sweet flavor in here? It just goes wonderfully with the pecans and the goat's cheese. These apples, again, are local apples. We actually picked them ourselves. They are great. I'm using their version of a Granny Smith. It's pretty tart, but it still has some sweetness to it that I think is going to balance well with this salad. You can, of course, cut your apples however you would like. I'm just cutting these into a little kind of a julienne or a matchstick. One thing to keep in mind about apples, they brown really quickly. They oxidize, and then they taste fine, but they don't look quite as pretty, and sometimes they get a little bit mushier. But we need to get our knives sharpened. It's amazing how quickly knives will go dull. They say the most dangerous time to use a knife in the kitchen is when it's dull, so just keep that in mind. If you can feel your knives going dull, make sure that you take them to a local kitchen supply store or a chef supply store. It is not expensive at all to get your knives professionally sharpened, and it makes it much safer to use in the kitchen. So, got some apples in here, we've got our goat's cheese. The last thing we're going to add are our pecans. One thing to keep in mind when you're using nuts, and especially local nuts, the people who pick nuts do a phenomenal job, but sometimes tiny bits of shells get stuck in there, so you just want to look through them before you put it in and make sure that all of your shell has been taken off. And these look great. I'm going to dress this with a bit of our dressing that smells incredible, and I'm going to make a plate. This meal, actually, now that I look at it, would probably work for most meals throughout the day. You could do this for brunch. You might not want to serve the salad at breakfast, but you can make a great brunch out of this. It makes a wonderful heavy lunch or a light dinner as well. So there are all sorts of times that you can use it. I'm going to grab one of these. Oh, that looks incredible. Plate some salad, and I just wanted to show you this really quickly. This is a great glass that I recently got. If you look at the bottom, it is made from an old wine bottle. A local artisan here makes these tumblers out of the bottoms, and she makes wine glasses out of the tops. If you can imagine flipping it upside down, the top of the bottle makes the stem of the wine glass. They're beautiful and just such a great way to support a local artisan as well. Well, I'm starving, and this looks absolutely delicious. I hope you had a great time today. If you have any great ideas that you'd love to share, if you've ever had a fire in your kitchen as well that you'd love to let us know about, please do. I had a great time sharing this with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.